Hi Verbling, my name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about the R pronunciation. And Adela, what were you saying?
No, that is Wilson left the class because you can't come back.
Yeah, I was stuck outside for a minute.
Teacher, the last student who came was K and DL. And then we were talking with one another that the last student should leave. And then Wellington decided to give his spot.
Very heroic of him. I'll have to give him a thank you. Shout out to Wilson. Thank you for being helpful. Yeah, I'm going to give him a gold star. Maybe I'll try to find him and send him a message. Okay, let's get going, and then hopefully things will jockey around. Wilson might get a chance to jump in or participate in the chat box to some degree, although it's a pronunciation class, so that's kind of hard. But let's get going. I'm going to ask each of you what some of your most difficult issues are with pronunciation. And we won't talk about R just yet. We're just going to warm up a little bit. We're going to get to R in a second. But what else do you have trouble with? It could be a particular letter or vowel sound, or maybe just that the spelling doesn't match up with the pronunciation sometimes. Tell me what your pronunciation issues are, starting with Sean.
Yeah, I have a couple of pronunciation issues, especially with R, because Indians have the soft R, and some consonant like D, P, and sometimes I consciously just try to follow, but when I'm in the flow, I just missed few things.
What was that last part?
When I just when I'm in the flow of talking, and sometimes I miss that part.
Yeah, it's hard to keep in mind when you're focusing on so many things. You're focusing on getting the right word and the right tense and all this other stuff. It's difficult. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mahmoud, what's your biggest problem with pronunciation?
Some letter like B and P. I letter in middle of some words.
Like the T sound?
T sound, yes. T and I and P. The
T, I, and P. All right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
No, that's the main issue.
Awesome. That's quite enough. All right. Thanks, Mahmoud.
Thank you.
Kendall? Kendall?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. How would you like me to say your name? Kendall. Okay. Welcome to class, Kendall. And what's your biggest problems with pronunciation aside from R?
I think your speaking is very fast before me. Can you speak a little slow?
Of course. Sorry. So what's your biggest difficulty with pronunciation?
I want to improve my pronunciation. Yes.
How would you like to improve your pronunciation?
I want to speak and speak about everything like this. I want to improve like this way.
All right. Thanks, Kendall. Jose, welcome to class.
Yes.
What's your biggest issue with pronunciation?
I think the biggest issue is about the P and the G. Sometimes it's difficult to pronounce these letters.
The A and the D?
And P,
Oh, A and
P and G.
All right, P and D. That's common today.
Yes.
People have been saying P and D. All right. I'll keep that in mind for other future classes. Javier, how about your biggest problems with pronunciation?
I have some, but I mean probably B and V, and S at the beginning of letters as well, because I'm from Spain, so normally I mispronounce this, and that's it mainly, yeah. And R sometimes depends on the on the word. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're here. We'll work on it today. Thanks, thanks, Javier. Edson, you're up next. What's your biggest problem with pronunciation?
It's me?
Edson, yeah.
Okay. My biggest problem is one of the those is with some th like three, fourth, things like that. And when I say some verbs in the past, like work it, they sound ed in the end as well. I always say like work it instead of worked.
Yeah, those are both super common mistakes, and I'll definitely do classes on them in the future because they're good to practice. Thanks, Edson. Carolina, what are your biggest pronunciation problems?
I think the same, teacher. For me, the most difficult is the ed endings in past. Yes.
All right. Ana Carolina, your biggest pronunciation problems?
Okay. Like my classmates, the past tense of the verbs. Also, some vowels, because blends and blends. I know they are different, but for me, I typed the words. I pronounce the same. And sit on someone and shit that you put on your bed, and also this where words. Those three are the same for me. I cannot see. I cannot
Yeah.
see. And also chew out and chew something. I pronounce the same way.
Chew out and choose something? Oh, chill out and choose something. Got it.
Chew
All right.
out. You had problems to understand me as well, and people perceive that I am Brazilian as soon as I open my mouth, and I really would like to get rid of my accent. And well, sometimes I feel uh, frustrated when I say something and people understand something completely different. Once
That's
I said,
frustrating.
yes, once I said, I'm not in a Miss Universe contest, but I wish for the world peace. And the teacher thought, can't you see the pictures? And I said, no, I didn't say that. I said that I wish for the world peace.
I see.
And the teacher, are you having problems to see the picture? And I was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? Sometimes
Yeah.
people
Go
don't.
ahead.
Yeah, sometimes people don't because I think that I am pronouncing well and I speak fast. And my gosh.
Yeah, we have to work. I think part of the biggest problem is just becoming aware of exactly where the problems are and hearing it yourself, and then you can start working on fixing it, and then you have to start working on doing it right when you're also focusing on a larger conversation, which can be really
The
hard.
problem is that sometimes people don't understand us and they pretend that they are understanding. They say, yes, yes. And then we move on and we don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes I can see why people do that, but it isn't helpful, of course, and it isn't going to improve anything, so better not to. And Adela, last but not least, pronunciation problems?
Sometimes the difficulty between E short and long, sheep or sheep, no? I don't distinguish. And ordinal numbers, two, no? Fifth, this finally, and the words have tu in the middle as culture, future. These are sound difficult for me.
All right. For as far as the numbers go, I have a class tomorrow about numbers where we will talk about pronunciation and we will discuss that. So if you're around, join. If not, watch it later. Maybe it will be helpful. Other than that, you guys are also welcome to come with me if you have minimal pairs that you want me to help you with. I'm totally happy to. So if you're thinking of something, you can bring it to any class, and I'll usually ask if you guys have questions at the end or something. You can definitely bring it to me or message me, and I can try and help. But since you guys have a couple minimal pairs in the chat box now, I'm going to help a couple of them, see if I can help you guys understand the difference. The first set I see is blend and bland. So a minimal pair is a word that's exactly the same with just one sound that's different. And this blend bland is a good comparison because those vowels can be really tricky. But the best way to do this pair is to watch yourself make the sound in the mirror because you can see on the outside. Vowels are good that way. Sometimes with consonants, it's hard because you can't see what's happening inside the mouth. But vowels, you usually can see on the outside what's happening. So we have blend, blend, and bland, bland. So bland is a wider sound than blend. Blend is more dropped low, and bland is kind of wider. So this is something you guys can practice in the mirror as well. Blend, and bland. Okay. The next set, sheet and cheat. That one's harder. That one is a matter of making sure you know what's happening inside the mouth, and you can't see a very big difference. So sh and ch, ch. The difference is the explosion of the ch. So sheet is sustained, while cheat is almost like you're sneezing. It's a big explosion of air, and then you cut it off. So that's the big difference there. And chew and chill, we have, let's see, oh, that one is about the end consonant. So Brazilians specifically have a hard time with this one, but chew, you can see I make my mouth very small. And chill, oh, it doesn't matter so much what's happening on the outside of my mouth with the L, but it does with the W. So chew, ooh, that's what I think, Ana Carolina, you're traditionally, or like in most words in Portuguese, that's the L sound. That ooh is actually similar to an L sound. So chew would be more familiar to you, and chill is a little harder, probably. But your mouth will be open a little more, not the small kind of mouth, and your tongue will be more flat, frequently touching the roof of your mouth. So, oh. It doesn't have to touch the roof of your mouth. It depends on the L sound you're making, but it could. So, oh, it would be like right there. Oh. So it can touch the roof of your mouth, but it does not have to. What else do we have? And if you guys are thinking of more pairs that you want to see the difference of, you can put them in the chat box. We'll go through them all right now, and or throughout class while we're doing our sound as well. Which one is TCH? Oh, yeah. So CH sound in English is like the TCH sound in Portuguese.
You were explaining sheet and
cheat.
Which one?
So sheet, SH, is sustained. Sheet and shoot, it's a smooth shoot, sheet. And CH is an explosion. It's cheat, cheat, right? Like a sneeze.
Okay, but cheat is To cheat on someone?
Yes, to cheat on a husband, to cheat on a test.
Okay. If you don't mind, I typed more things that are difficult,
Yeah,
I believe,
yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, I can go through a couple more of these, and I'll probably limit it to maybe 2-3 more minutes, and then we'll go into our actual R pronunciation, which is important for us to get to, because that's what the class is about. But this is good too. This is all good pronunciation work.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If you want, for example, to get the American accent, you need to focus on pronunciation, or I don't know.
Well, of course, if you want to improve your accent, yes, focus on pronunciation. I think it's important to have good enough pronunciation so that people can communicate efficiently and understand you. However, I do think that a lot of students are more self-conscious of it than is really important. So maybe if I could tell you anything from today, it's that if you have a problem you know is holding you back from communicating, then that's important to work on. But a lot of times it's just students who say, well, I just want to have the perfect accent. I want to sound exactly like an American. And that's not super realistic, and also it's not that important. Who cares, right? Like, as long as you're communicating, people understand you, it's all right if you have a little bit of an accent. So don't feel self-conscious. Don't worry about it too much. Just do your best and see where the bigger issues are. Take care of some of the bigger things, and the little ones don't matter as much. So we've got one more set. Imitation is a good technique, Anna. We've got one more set that in the chat box to go over before we get into our notes for today. The first one, or this one, is lock, look, luck, luke, luck. Oh, it's a lot. So, lock, lock, look, farther back. So, lock is more open, more forward. Look, a little more closed and a little farther back in your mouth. Luke is even farther closed and farther back. And lock, So that one's maybe the most open. We've got lock, and luck, lock, luck. I guess lock is the most open. Lock, very open. Luck, is pretty open. Look, not very open. And Luke, not open. Or not very open anyways. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, I think so. I hope so. And the 2 words that I typed, please.
I already did blend and bland. We talked about that.
Sorry.
So blend, and bland, wider. Is lower. You drop your jaw a little more, and is wider. More open, more wide. All right, we have one more set, and we'll go over these. And for anyone who hasn't had their, if you guys continue to think of these, continue to put them in the chat box. We will try to go over them at the end of class. The greedy Greek geek agreed. That's a pretty good tongue twister, which we'll do at the end. Edson, did you have a specific question about that, or were you just throwing that in there as a challenge?
No, just to press because my another teacher gave me this sentence to practice, but
yeah,
it's pretty difficult to practice this.
It's a great idea. Tongue twisters, we're going to go over some R tongue twisters today, and it's a great idea to use them while you're commuting, in the car, in the shower, just to warm up your mouth and to get you used to those words. And I'll say it one more time so you can kind of watch my mouth and hear it. The greedy, Greek, geek, agreed. The vowels are pretty much all the same, so it's not that interesting, but it's good for consonants. And in the Google chat box, I've got a question about there, the word there. There's 3 different kinds, we all know. There is in over there, the location. There, air. And they all sound exactly the same. There as in possessive. Those books are theirs, theirs. Or you could say it's their TV. Their. Same pronunciation, different spelling. And then of course, they are. They're going to the movies. They are going to the movies. They're going to the movies. Does that answer your question, Kendall? I'm hoping. Okay, so let's get into our notes for today. We'll come back to some of that later if you guys have more questions on different things. Oh, we got to get to work. So we're going to read about how R is pronounced. And hopefully that should help us a little bit. Starting with Adela. Will you read the first highlighted paragraph?
Yes, how to pronounce the R sound. There are 2 different ways to create an R sound, and although the tongue placement is quite different between the 2, the sound they produce is very similar. An important aspect of the American R sound is that the tip of the tongue never touches the tooth ridge during the sound.
Awesome, thank you. Method 1, Ana Carolina, will you read for us?
Sure, teacher. Method 1. Solitude. The back of the tongue is raised, so the sides of the tongue touch the back teeth. The center, the center of the back of the tongue is lower, and the air travels through this groove to create the sound. The tip of the tongue may point upward, or maybe left down. Sorry, my bad. Left too low.
Yep, thank you very much. Method 2, Kako. Are you there, Kako? All right.
Yes, teacher.
Read it for us.
Sorry. Method 2, dashed. The tip of the tongue is raised and curled back behind the tooth reed, while the back of the tongue stays low.
Thanks. And Carolina, will you finish it up? Carolina, are you there? Carolina? No? All right. Edson, will you finish up and read that last paragraph?
Yeah. Students should experiment to find the most effective individual method. Also, the R sound interacts with adjacent sounds, which can result in positions that are a combination of the above methods.
Thank you very much. Okay, so it does not matter which one of those techniques you use. Some people use one, some people use another. I believe method 2 is a little more common. And also, it works well, I think, for Latin speakers specifically because of the way they already make their R. So you might want to go with that one, but both are fine. And yeah, do you guys have any questions on all that? No? I know it's sort of hard to visualize and feel because you can't see what's happening. The problem is you can't see it. So you have to kind of like be really aware of what your mouth is doing. What about the outside of your mouth? Does anyone know what the outside of your mouth should look like? Anybody?
Lips, both of the lips should not touch, and they should be
True.
open. And teeth also, teeth should not be touched.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just able to font your jaw a little bit, it will be a little helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Does anyone else have an idea of what we need to do on the outside to make that sound right? There's a couple more tips you might be able to give. There are slight variations as well depending on the placement of the R. So sometimes an R that starts a word doesn't sound exactly the same as the R that ends a word. It's almost the same, and I think the distinction is not really worth making, but it's good to know so that if you see it happening, you can identify what you're looking at. So, for instance, in the name Rachel, my lips are apart and my teeth are apart, but only a very little bit. Rachel. And my mouth is kind of pressed in a little. Rachel. Rachel. And a word, we'll say swimmer. Swimmer. You can see that my mouth is significantly more open, and you can even see the part between my teeth. Swimmer. You can almost see what's happening inside my mouth. I know it's like silly to look inside my mouth, but my tongue, I do the second one, my tongue curves up a little bit. I can do the other one, I just don't. My habit is the second one. So, we have Rachel, where you squish your mouth a little bit more. And swimmer, a little more open. The sound is very similar. It looks a little different, but it's very similar. So, keep it in mind. Don't stress about it. As long as you know the difference in theory, that should be kind of helpful. Do you guys have any questions? Yet? No? Let's go back to the screen share. Okay, so we already answered this. Now let's come up with some tough R words. I want you guys to think for a second and give me some example of vocabulary words with R in them that you find very difficult to say. And we'll talk about why they're more difficult. Some words are more difficult than other words. How about Sean? Do you have any suggestions for difficult R words?
Yeah, for me, pronounce girl is little tough. Like,
Definitely. It's a combination of R and L that really makes it difficult for a lot of people.
yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Mahmoud, what's a difficult R word you can think of?
I think some words like artery, the words have two R in the same word, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Two R in the
R's
same
that
word.
are almost back to back.
It will be difficult.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mahmoud. Kendall, what are some difficult R words you can think of?
I think when we say right, it's hard, and when we say rule, it is easy add words.
Interesting comparison, actually. So right and rule.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes it makes a difference what vowel follows that R sound too, as to whether it's difficult or not. Right? The I is a little more open, and rule, the U is a little more closed. So that might be what you're struggling with. Going from one to the other can be tough. Jose, give me some difficult R words.
I think I'm thinking about some difficult words. For example, reductible, refulgent, refute,
Refute? You mean like,
refute, yes.
okay, refute. All right.
Reducible,
Refutable.
yes, reducible,
All right.
reducible,
With an F, right?
yes.
Refutable. Okay, just making sure I got you right. Definitely difficult. Edson, give us a difficult R word. I see you've got one in the chat box already.
Yeah, is I don't know how to pronounce it.
Rear.
Rear.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier. 2 R's in a word. It's like
Yep.
exhausting, right? It's like, oh, I just did that sound. I don't want to do it again.
Exactly like this.
Thanks, Edson. Carolina, what are some difficult R words you can think of? Carolina, are you there?
Sorry.
What are some difficult R words, Carolina?
Maybe, I don't know, teacher. Maybe when, like, sorry, you have to say like "r."
Yeah, it's a very strong R sound there. Sorry. Very strong. Thanks, Carolina. Kako, give me an R sound that is difficult for you to say, an R word.
Curl.
Curl, yes. Like girl, it's got that RL combination that's tough. Ana Carolina, any suggestions?
Rural.
Yes, oh my gosh. That is my like top most hated word for as a teacher and just like as a person. It doesn't make any sense. No one can say that word, not even Americans.
And also, yes, I think this word is very difficult, and also rough, because roof, yes, because we have to at the beginning. With no, you see, it's so difficult that you couldn't understand me. Oh gosh.
Rough as in rough,
Not
like
the roof of your house. I'm sorry. It's so difficult for me. Word, yes. I have to say old, world, world. Otherwise, it will sound like word. The word world.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. And a huge word as well. The doctor that's taking care of your ear and throat. I don't know how to say this word here. Hold on.
Throat.
Ortholaryngeologist? Otorhinolaryngologist. I've never heard of that before, but it probably exists. Okay. Otorinolaryngologist. Otorinolaryngologist. Whoa. Okay. I've always heard them called ear, nose, and throat doctors. People don't even try and say that word. That's funny. Cool. All right, and Adela, give us some tough R words.
Sometimes when finish an R, a higher or air, maybe, and sometimes when have a consonant curve or similar, have a B or a P or ARP.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Those consonants, when we have those packed consonants, can be tough. Very
Yes.
difficult. So I made a little list of my own, and a couple of them you guys said, because you guys, I'm sure have a lot of experience with tough R words. But I'll add mine to the rest of your list, and then we're going to, just for fun, go around and say them all. So I'll copy-paste the list into both. And we'll get started. So the words we have, the most difficult R words we could think of are girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, curl, rural, stupid word, learn, rough, word, world, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, rumor. Those are the tough R words. So let's each just give it a go. This is a good list. If you have it somewhere, you can just run through it almost like a tongue twister, just to warm up your mouth. And the more you do it, the easier it will be. Like anything else, it's motor memory. It's trying again and again. And maybe you'll fail really badly the first 100 times. But eventually you'll get a little better and a little better until you do make progress. So even though it's frustrating, do not stop. Do not quit. Adela, will you read the list through for us?
Girl, artery, right, is all list.
No.
No. Sorry.
No, yeah, no, yes, read the whole list. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, car, rural, learn, route, word, world, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, rumor. Difficult.
Awesome. Yes, it is difficult. And most of those were beautiful because sometimes, when you're really thinking about it, it's easy to do, but it's not as easy to include in your everyday conversation because you forget. It's like when you think about it, you're like, yeah, I should do that. But when you're stressed about thinking of other things, you tend to forget it when you're actually speaking. In general, not you, Adela, but people in general. And for you specifically, Adela, I heard sometimes it sounds a little bit like a flap, or like, for instance, you were saying, I think you said, when you said learn, it sounded almost like a rolled R, and rarely, the L actually sounded a little bit like a flap as well.
Rarely.
Yeah, that's good. Rarely. Cool. Thanks, Adela. Yeah, make sure that L is like more of a sustained sound instead of the rarely. Like it sounds like it's flapping a little bit, just a little bit. But slow progress. Ana Carolina, go ahead and go through the list for us.
Okay. Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, heart, curl, rural, learn, roof. I never skip this one. Word, world, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, rumor.
Okay, so rarely sounded like it had a little too much a little too much stress on the second syllable. It sounded like rarely. Really, it should be rarely. Rarely.
Okay, rarely.
And hard sounded also like Adela. I was telling her it sounded a little bit like a flap. So a little bit more like a rolled R than just the hard, like pirate.
Okay. Can I try again? Hard,
Mm-hmm.
rough,
Mm-hmm.
and rarely.
Awesome. Good. Much better. And the only other note I would make is in the word hard, sometimes it sounds like there's a little bit of air that comes out after when you say it, so it sounds like hard, instead of hard. So,
Hard.
yeah, when I'm saying it in a sentence, if I'm not like explaining pronunciation, I will hardly say the D. I'll just say hard. It was hard. But it's not like I'm saying it was hard. Yeah, it's hard. And it almost gets cut off at the end.
Okay, thank you. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Awesome. Kako, read the list through for us.
World, girl, early, recruit, rural, rivalry, rarely, rumor.
Did you get all of them? I think you missed some of them. Where are you reading from? Will you read it once more, starting with girl?
Can you repeat, teacher?
Will you read the list again, starting with girl and ending with rumor?
Are you asking me to read again all the row of?
Yes. From girl.
All the row of words. Girl.
There should be, yeah.
Girl. World.
That's not the next word. Where are you reading from? It should be girl artery. You see it?
Rivalry.
Kako, do you see the list?
World. Girl. Early. Recruit. Rural. Rivalry. Rarely. Rumor.
Okay. Your R sounded good, even though, yeah, I don't know where you're reading from, but the R sounded good.
I read from the document, teacher.
We're reading from the chat box right now.
Okay. I have no access to the chat box because I am using a tablet. Sorry, teacher.
Got it. Okay, no problem. Your R sounded pretty good, though. They sounded polished. As long as we can keep that when you're actually speaking in a normal sentence or a normal conversation, then that would be perfect. All right, Carolina, go ahead and try the list for us.
Okay. Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, real, sorry, heart, court, rural, learned, rough, word, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, and rumor.
All right, nicely done. I would say the biggest place you struggle is when an R starts a word. It sounds like when an R starts a word, you tend to roll it. Instead of saying rivalry, it's like rivalry. And so you just make sure that in the beginning of the word, you still have to make it that the pirate kind of sound. So try one of those words again, rarely or rumor.
Rumor?
Yeah, it's getting better, but definitely make sure it's a sustained rumor.
Rumor.
It's still flapping a little bit. You can hear it. Can you hear it? Can you feel
Yes,
it?
yes. It's difficult because in Spanish we have a lot of words starting with R, so we try to pronounce the same way as Spanish.
Yeah, it takes a lot of slow dedication to fix that and to, I mean, honestly, that's not the biggest problem because people will probably still understand you. But it's always good to know and to try and continue improving.
Yeah, teacher, thank you.
Thanks, Carolina. And Edson, go ahead.
Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, curl, rural, learn, rough, word, world, hire, early, recruit, reverie, harily, humor.
Okay, so the word rough has a slightly different vowel than you put. It's rough.
Rough.
Yes. And sometimes you do something that's also very stereotypical of Brazilian pronunciation, which is the beginning of the word, or the beginning R sound kind of gets turned into an H sound, so it sounds a little more like hairly rather than rarely. But that's
Rarely.
much better. Yeah. Work on that. Okay, Jose, go for it.
Okay. Gall, artery, right, roof, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, card, rural, learn, rough, word, world, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, rumor.
Okay, the beginning R's sound really good, and R's that are backed up to other consonants, like in learn and early, sounded a little bit more like a flap.
Okay.
Try and work on that. Kendall, go ahead and read through.
Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, curve, rural, learn, rap, work, work, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, rarely, rumor.
Awesome. I think for you, the part you need to work on the most is the world, the RLD, and rivalry, LRY. When you have those consonants all shoved together, they tend to sound a little bit funky. All right, and Sean, last but not least, go ahead.
Sure. Girl, artery, right, rule, refutable, rear, sorry, hard, curl, rural, learn, rough, word, world, hire, early, recruit, rivalry, really, rumor.
Okay, awesome. That sounded really good. The RL combination is a little bit funny. You said, oddly enough, you said world better than you said things like early and rivalry. That L started to sound a little bit more like a flap instead of rivalry. Rivalry. It sounded more like.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions on that before I've got one more thing to show you, but we're pretty much wrapping up. Questions? Nothing? I've got some tongue twisters for you that work on different R pronunciations, different R placement, beginning, middle, or end of the word. And I gave you even suggestions for how many times you should repeat it. So these are other great ways that you can practice. I'm just going to read them all through once and then ask you guys if you have any questions on the way they're pronounced before we finish up class. So we've got real weird rear wheels. And ideally, once you start to feel more comfortable with it, you'd say it 4 times fast. Real weird rear wheels. Real weird rear wheels. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. And you guys can, practice this now. If you put yourself on mute, go ahead and try these out. That way you can ask me if you've got any questions on them. The next one, ripe white wheat reapers, reap, ripe, white, wheat, right. So I'll say that again. Ripe, white, wheat, reapers, reap, ripe, white, wheat, right. Tough. The next one, Roberta ran rings around the Roman ruins. Roberta ran rings around the Roman ruins. Rory the warrior and Roger the warrior were reared wrongly in a rural brewery. So, warrior, got it. Okay, Rory the warrior and Roger the warrior were reared wrongly in a rural brewery. That one's tough. That one's got a lot of consonant and R combination. The next one, the ragged rascal ran around and around the rugged rocks. The ragged rascal ran around and around the rugged rocks. The next one, raise Ruth's red roof. Raise Ruth's red roof. A really leery Larry rolls readily to the road. A really leery Larry rolls readily to the road. Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare. Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare. And the last one, a right-handed fellow named Wright, in writing right, always wrote right, where he meant to write right. If he'd written right, Wright would not have wrought, writing right. Ugh. Okay, any questions on the way we say those? Any of these? Any other comments or questions before we wrap up? Cool. If you guys do have more questions, definitely send me a message on Verbally. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, teacher. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Michaela. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.